First of all, there's a clip of Mike Morell that's getting a lot of play now with this new email where he talks about reacting to Ambassador Rice's testimony that the video was not something that our analysts attributed the attack to. But in the first part of that statement, he says that his reaction to her Sunday show appearance was that when she talked about the protests, that was based on the best information at the time. Right in that same sentence. Mm-hmm. And the protests were because of the video.
Well, here, I think I can help you tease this out. If you look at the points that Mr. Morell has many times said publicly that he oversaw and took responsibility for, the first sentence essentially says, based on currently available information, what happened in Benghazi arose out of, and I'm paraphrasing, protests at Benghazi that were inspired by demonstrations outside of the U.S. Embassy in Cairo. And there is no question that, like the demonstrations around so many of our diplomatic facilities in the Muslim world at that time, the demonstrations outside of our embassy in Cairo were inspired by anger over the video in question. So I think that clearly explains what was at issue in the CIA talking points, what have been described as the CIA talking points, and what the sort of connection between, based on currently available information, was being made at the time between the demonstrations over the video and what happened in Benghazi. Again, is what we've said all along, and what the CIA has said, other intelligence community leaders have said, what folks in this administration have said, is that when more information became available, we made it available to the public through you. And in a situation like that, it is obviously complex in the sense that you have an event like that happening across the world. You have concurrently demonstrations, highly violent and potentially very damaging demonstrations happening outside of diplomatic facilities in the Muslim world that threatened, at least, to become even more severe. And that was something that was of great concern to national security officials both here and across the administration and across the world, as you would expect it would be. And I think that is the context in which to understand how the talking points were developed and what everyone was saying about them at the time, and the fact that there was contradictory information at the time.
Said there and sort of saying that supports whatever they're trying to do with this email. But my question is, what he's saying there doesn't seem to make any sense to me. He says, yes, it was the protests, which were about the video, but it's not about the video. So my question is...
Tommy, I would just say I didn't see specifically that testimony. What I can tell you is that Mr. Morell has, on repeated occasions, made clear that those talking points were overseen by him, developed by the intelligence community, were based on the best available information they had at the time, were produced at the request of and on behalf of members of Congress of both parties who wanted to be able to answer questions publicly about the event, and that we used the same points and provided them to our representative who went out to talk about it publicly. And he has also made clear and testified that he felt absolutely no political influence as he was developing those points. So, taking us, sort of dialing it back a year to when we had these discussions the last time, that was the focus of everyone's attention, and it was because that process in developing those points had been mischaracterized because of the partisan political effort on the Hill by Republicans to reporters that we voluntarily put out the documentation that backed up what we were saying and what Mr. Morell was saying. The unfortunate thing about all of this is that in the end it distracts from what the focus should be, which is that we need to take action to ensure that there's better security for Americans, civilian Americans serving abroad at our diplomatic facilities, many of them in countries where there are inherent risks to Americans. And we need to continue the effort to hunt down and bring to justice those responsible for the deaths of 4 Americans. That's the President's focus, and we wish that it was the focus of members of Congress as well.